There's a moment in every teenage life when a feeling becomes too big to hide, too loud, too real, too impossible to push down any longer. For me, that moment had a name: Austin Hayes. Austin wasn't just the most beautiful boy in my class. He was the kind of boy people noticed without even meaning to. Soft blonde hair that always fell into his eyes, that shy half smile he tried to hide, the quiet confidence that made everyone want to be close to him. He wasn't loud. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't the golden boy or the star athlete. He was just Austin, gentle, smart, kind, impossible to ignore. And the more I tried not to fall for him, the deeper I fell, until the day I couldn't take it anymore. The day I confessed everything, every feeling, every fear, every heartbeat that belonged to him. But what Austin said back, what he admitted, what happened between us after that moment, is something I never expected. And if you stay until the end of this story, you'll understand why that confession changed both of our lives forever. If you love emotional LGBTQ plus stories that feel real, human, and impossible to stop watching, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. There are certain people you notice before you even understand why. People who walk into a room and, without doing anything, rearrange the entire atmosphere around them. Austin Hayes was that kind of person. He didn't try to stand out. He didn't talk loudly. He didn't show off. He was the opposite of every guy who fought for attention in our class. Maybe that's why he got mine. It started slowly. A glance here, a smile there, sitting behind him in English class and pretending to take notes while memorizing the shape of his shoulders. I told myself it was harmless, just a crush, just admiration, just noticing. But just can turn into everything without warning. I think the moment it became real was the second week of junior year. We had a group assignment in U.S. history, something about the Reconstruction era, something boring, something no one actually cared about. When the teacher started dividing groups, I didn't even look in Austin's direction. I didn't want to seem obvious. I didn't want to hope. But then I heard his voice behind me. "Can I join your group?" I turned around slowly, trying to look normal, calm, human. "Sure," I managed to say, even though internally I was melting into a puddle. "We need one more anyway." He smiled that small, shy, but impossibly warm smile and sat down next to me. Too close. Close enough for me to smell his soap. Close enough for me to hear the way he breathed. Close enough for my entire focus to narrow down to the 3 inches of space between our arms. I thought he didn't notice, but I was wrong. Over the next few weeks, something shifted, not just in me, in us. Austin started sitting next to me more often, not just in history, but in English, then in math, then even at lunch on days when the cafeteria was too crowded. He didn't cling to me. He didn't flirt, but he gravitated. And every small moment made the feeling inside me grow heavier, louder, harder to ignore. The way he leaned toward me when he talked, the way he looked at me when he laughed, the way he'd say my name softly, like it meant something, the way he'd check if I was in the classroom the moment he walked in. Little things, stupid things. But for someone like me, someone who'd been hiding feelings my entire life, they were everything. By mid-semester, I wasn't sleeping right. I'd lie awake replaying every conversation, every glance, every stolen moment of closeness. It felt like waiting for a storm that never arrived. Pressure building and building until my chest hurt. And yet, I didn't know if he felt anything. I didn't know if he was just kind, if I was reading too much into everything, if I was going to ruin everything by wanting more than I should. The moment that broke me happened on a Thursday afternoon. We were working on a writing assignment in English class, sitting side by side. The room was warm, sunlight spilling across the desks. People whispered and tapped their pencils, bored and restless. I should have been writing. Instead, I felt his knee graze mine under the desk. I froze. He didn't move. He didn't pull away. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't accidental. He kept it there, warm, steady, intentional, and I didn't breathe for at least 10 seconds. When I finally looked up, he was already looking at me. Not confused, not apologetic, just aware. His eyes met mine and held. And that was the moment I knew I was done for, that I couldn't pretend anymore, that whatever this was, whatever he felt, whatever we were spiraling into, I had to tell him how I felt before I drowned in the silence. But confession requires timing, courage, privacy, and the universe decided to give me exactly one of those things. After school that same day, I found him alone in the art room. He wasn't an artist, not officially, but he liked the quiet, the way the room smelled like charcoal and paint, the way the windows overlooked the field. I'd seen him there a few times, sitting on the counter, swinging his legs gently as he sketched in a small notebook he never showed anyone. When I pushed the door open, he looked up. A tiny smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Hey," he said. "Didn't think anyone else was still here. I was looking for you," I said before I could stop myself. His eyebrows lifted slightly. "For me?" My heart beat, so loudly I was sure he could hear it. "Yeah." He closed his notebook slowly, hopping off the counter. The afternoon light hit his face just right, turning his hair gold and his eyes soft. He walked toward me, hands in his pockets. "What's up?" he asked. I felt my throat tighten. This was it, the moment when the truth would either break me or save me. "I need to tell you something," I said. He stepped closer, not touching, but close enough to make my chest tremble. "Okay," he said softly. "Tell me." My voice cracked. His eyes softened even more. "You can say it," he whispered. "It's me." But before I could answer, before I could confess everything I'd been holding in for months, the hallway outside the art room erupted with noise. A group of students burst through the doors, laughing loudly, talking over each other. The spell shattered instantly. Austin stepped back like the sudden noise had burned him. I swallowed hard. The words died in my throat. I wasn't ready to tell him in front of the world. I wasn't ready for anyone else to hear. I wasn't ready for the risk that came with the truth. He looked at me, confusion flickering across his face. "What were you going to say?" he asked quietly. I'll tell you later," I said. His expression changed, just slightly, something like disappointment. "Promise?" he asked. "Yeah," I whispered. "I promise." He nodded once, slowly, then picked up his backpack. "I'll wait," he said. But the way he said it, soft, hesitant, almost hopeful, made my stomach twist. Because promises are easy, but telling someone you're falling for them, that's the part that terrifies you. I didn't sleep much after that almost confession in the art room. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Austin's face, the way his eyes softened when he told me, "It's me, you can say it." Those words replayed in my mind like a broken record. And the worst part? He wanted me to say something. I felt in the way he stepped closer, in the way his voice lowered, in the way his body leaned toward mine, without even trying. But I didn't say it. Not yet. The next morning, I arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallways were quiet, lockers still cold from the night, the janitor finishing his rounds. I walked through the silence, feeling a knot of anxiety twisted inside me. I didn't know what would happen when I saw him again. Would he act normal? Avoid me? Pretend nothing happened? Or would it be different? I reached my locker and froze. He was already there. Austin stood leaning against the wall next to my locker, his backpack hanging off one shoulder, his hair slightly messed up in a way that looked too perfect to be accidental. He was staring at the floor, hands in his pockets, like he'd been waiting long enough for the silence to become uncomfortable. When I approached, he lifted his head, and something was different. He didn't smile right away. He didn't say hey casually. He didn't pretend he was just passing by. He looked at me like last night had meant something, like he remembered every second of it, like he'd been waiting for me. "Hey," he said quietly. "Hey," I answered, a little breathless. He pushed himself off the wall and stood in front of me. Not too close, but close enough that I felt my pulse pick up. "You never told me," he said softly. My stomach tightened. "Told you what?" "What you were going to say yesterday." His voice wasn't impatient. It wasn't demanding. It was curious, vulnerable. My throat tightened. I couldn't. People walked in. "I know." He nodded. "But you said you'd tell me later." I meant it. A hint of a smile tugged at his lips, but it didn't fully reach his eyes. "Okay, Later, then, he stepped aside so I could open my locker. I grabbed my books, trying to steady my breathing. The hallway was filling with students now, conversations bouncing off the metal lockers, laughter echoing. But Austin wasn't paying attention to any of it. He was watching me, not intensely, not in a way that felt strange, just attentively, like he cared. When the bell rang, he walked with me toward our first class. Not next to me, not behind me. With me, our steps synced, our shoulders almost brushing. Everyone else faded. Inside the classroom, he chose a seat beside mine, even though he usually sat 2 rows back with quieter kids. As soon as he sat, he turned slightly toward me. "So after school?" he asked. My breath caught. "After school, what?" He smiled, small but real. "You'll tell me then?" I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. The teacher started the lesson, but I couldn't focus. How could I, when Austin sat so close that his arm brushed mine every time he adjusted in his seat? Every accidental touch made sparks zip through my body. At one point, he dropped his pencil. I reached down the same moment he did. Our fingers touched lightly, barely, but the jolt that ran through me was real. He looked up quickly. Our faces were inches apart. Neither of us moved. The moment stretched, warm and fragile. Then he leaned back slowly, his breath shaking just a little, and I knew it wasn't one-sided. After lunch, everything changed. We were walking to the courtyard when Austin's best friend, Liam, jogged up behind him. "Dude, you disappeared yesterday. Where were you?" Liam slapped Austin on the arm, laughing. Austin tense, his eyes darting toward me. I was working on something. Austin said quickly, "With who?" Liam asked. "Your mom said you didn't get home until almost 5. Austin's stomach dropped. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't want to say my name. Not in front of Liam. Not where anyone could hear. "I was with a friend," he said. Liam raised an eyebrow. "Who?" Austin glanced at me. A tiny, quick, anxious glance. I looked away instantly. Silence stretched between them. "Oh," Liam said finally, stepping closer. "Wait, is it?" Austin come off fast. "It's nothing. Just drop it." His voice wasn't angry. It was scared. Liam stared at him for a second, then shrugged and walked away, muttering something under his breath. Austin exhaled shakily, running a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, turning to me. "I didn't want him. I didn't want anyone." "It's okay," I said, even though something stung inside me. "It's not," he whispered. I'm not ready for people to ask questions. Not about us." "Us." He said it without thinking, without correcting himself. Something warmed in my chest. "I get it," I said. He looked relieved, stepping closer. "Thank you." The way he said it, soft, honest, almost grateful, made my heart tighten. When the last bell rang, we both left class fast, our eyes meeting across the hallway like magnets pulling toward each other. He nodded, silently telling me to follow him. We walked down the side stairs, past the gym, past the science wing, toward the back of the school, where almost no one went. The air outside was cool, the sky washed in pale afternoon light. He finally stopped behind the old garden shed, the one place where you could stand and not see a single person. He turned to me, hands in pockets, shoulders tense, eyes soft. "Okay," he said quietly. "We're alone." My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear my own thoughts. He stepped closer, not touching, but somehow still holding me. "What were you going to tell me?" he asked. I opened my mouth. The words climbed up my throat. But then, the sound of footsteps echoed behind the shed. Heavy, fast, too close. We both turned sharply. Someone was coming. Someone who wasn't supposed to be there. Someone who had seen us walk this way. Austin's eyes widened. "Don't say anything," he whispered urgently, stepping back. "Not now. Not if someone hears." The footsteps grew louder. Whoever it was turned the corner, and my whole body froze, because it wasn't a stranger, wasn't a random student, wasn't a teacher. It was Liam, and the look on his face wasn't confusion. It was suspicion. It was shock. It was the beginning of something neither of us was ready for. Liam froze when he turned the corner and saw us standing behind the shed, not talking in the open hallway, not joking around near the parking lot, but hidden, alone, close. His eyes bounced from me to Austin, lingering long enough to make the air fold in on itself. What's going on? Liam asked slowly. Austin stepped back so fast that the distance between us doubled instantly. His shoulders tensed, his jaw tightened, and he forced a laugh that didn't sound remotely real. Nothing, Austin said. We were just, he needed help with the project. For English. Liam stared at him. That project was finished last week, he said. Austin froze. Every muscle in his body went rigid, and I felt a wave of cold run through me. The kind of cold that comes when you know the truth is too close to the surface. We're working on something else, Austin said finally. What's something else? Liam asked. Austin didn't answer. He couldn't, because there was no something else. Just us. Just nerves. Just feelings we pretended didn't have names. Liam looked at me then, scanning me like he was trying to understand a puzzle he had never noticed before. Why are you two back here? He asked. Why not inside? Or literally anywhere else? Austin swallowed hard. Because it's quiet here, I said, stepping forward before Austin self-destructed. We just needed a space to talk. Liam's eyes narrowed. About what? Homework, I said. He laughed sharply. Right, homework. Behind the shed. Totally normal. Austin's face flushed a deep red. Not embarrassment, not guilt. Fear. Real fear. Liam, Austin said softly, can you not make a big deal out of this? A big deal out of what? Liam snapped. You're the one acting weird, not me. You disappear after school. You avoid me in class. You hang out behind buildings with. He stopped abruptly. With me. He didn't say it, but he didn't need to. Austin looked at him like he was about to shatter. Please, he whispered. Not right now. Liam stared at him for a long moment, and something in his face changed. It wasn't anger. It was confusion mixed with something else, something like realization. Oh, he said quietly. Wait, are you two? Austin's voice cracked as he cut him off. No. Liam blinked. Then what is this? Austin's voice shook. I don't know. The honesty in those 3 words punched the air from my lungs. Liam looked between us again, once, twice, then took a step back, shaking his head slowly. I don't get it, he said. But whatever it is, just don't drag me into it, okay? And without waiting for either of us to respond, he walked away, not running, not storming off, just leaving, but with a tension in his shoulders that made my stomach twist. As soon as he disappeared around the corner, Austin covered his face with both hands. Shit, he whispered. Shit, shit, shit. Austin. He stepped back from me like getting near me was dangerous now. I can't do this, he said, breathing fast. I can't have people assuming things. Liam's going to think, my whole friend group, people are going to talk. His voice trembled, breaking at the edges. It's not your fault, I said quietly. Yes, it is, he said. I shouldn't have said to meet here. I shouldn't have. He stopped himself, swallowed hard, looked away. You shouldn't have been seen with me. I asked softly. He winced, a full body flinch, because the truth of my words hit him harder than he wanted it to. That's not what I meant, he said quickly. Then what did you mean? He ran both hands through his hair, pacing in a frantic line. I don't know what I'm doing, he said. Nothing makes sense right now. And Liam showing up just made it worse. I stayed still, calm, quiet, letting him spiral at his own pace. He finally stopped, pressing his back against the shed, head leaning back as he exhaled shakily. I'm not ready for people to know anything, he said. I haven't told anyone. I know. He met my eyes, raw, scared, honest. That's what scares me, because I trust you. Too much. And trusting you makes everything else harder to control. My breath caught. What do you mean? I asked softly. He pushed off the shed and stepped toward me. Not close enough to touch, but close enough to feel the heat radiating from him. When I'm around you, he said, voice low, I forget what I'm supposed to be. Austin. And I don't know if it's good or bad, he continued, eyes searching mine. I don't know if I'm losing myself or finding something I didn't know I needed. Those words felt like they wrapped around my ribs. Austin, I said gently, you don't have to figure it all out today. He took one more step toward me, and for a moment I thought he might touch me or tell me something he'd been holding back. But then, footsteps again. Not hurried, not loud, just slow, steady, approaching from the front of the shed. Austin tensed instantly, his eyes widened with dread. Who is it? I whispered. He shook his head, backing away from me, panic rising in his throat. The footsteps stopped just around the corner. A shadow stretched across the ground. Someone was standing there, listening, waiting, close enough to have heard pieces of what Austin just said. Austin, a voice called out. Familiar, deep, not Liam. And when the person stepped into view, everything inside Austin collapsed. Because standing there, arms crossed, expression dark with suspicion and something like disappointment, was his older brother. Austin's brother, Ryan, wasn't just any senior. He was a senior. Captain of the football team, known by everyone, respected by teachers, feared by freshmen. The kind of guy who walked through the halls with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no in his life. And now he stood in front of us, arms crossed, eyes narrowed, towering like the embodiment of every fear Austin had tried to escape. What are you two doing back here? Ryan asked. His voice wasn't loud, but it didn't need to be. It carried weight, authority, the kind that made Austin flinch before he even answered. Nothing, Austin said too quickly. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Nothing? Behind a shed? At the back of school? Alone? Austin swallowed hard. We were just talking. About what? Ryan pressed. Austin hesitated, and that hesitation said more than any confession ever could. Ryan's jaw tightened. His gaze shifted to me. I felt myself shrink under it. You're Caleb, right? Ryan asked. My voice cracked slightly. Yeah. He looked me up and down, not in a mocking way, but in a calculating one, like he was trying to assemble a puzzle. He didn't like the shape of. I've seen you around, Ryan said. Didn't think you and Austin were close. We're not, Austin started, voice cracking. Ryan cut him a sharp look. I'm talking to him, he said, nodding toward me. Austin shut his mouth. The air felt razor thin between the three of us. We have a class together, I said quietly, and we worked on a project. Ryan didn't blink. That's it. Yes, I said. Austin, Ryan asked, turning back to him. Austin hesitated again, just long enough for Ryan to notice. Ryan took a step closer to his brother. You lying to me? Austin's breath hitched. No. Then why do you look like you're hiding something? Silence swallowed the space between them. I could see Austin's chest rising quickly, see his fingers tremble at his sides, see the war happening inside him. Fear, shame, longing, confusion, all crashing into each other like waves of storm. Ryan noticed all of it. Come on, Ryan finally said. Let's go. Dad wants you home early. Austin didn't move. Ryan's voice hardened. Now, Austin. Austin took one step forward, then another, but before he could leave, he turned his head just enough for me to see the panic in his eyes. Don't say anything. Don't make this worse. Don't let him know. It was all there, silent and desperate. He followed his brother around the corner, disappearing from sight. The moment they were gone, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. My legs felt weak, my stomach twisting with dread. Something had changed. I could feel it. Ryan seeing us together hadn't just made Austin nervous. It had shaken him. Austin didn't show up to school the next day. At first, I told myself he was sick. Then maybe his family made him stay home. But the longer the day went on, the more my chest tightened with fear. He didn't text, didn't send a note, didn't show up at his locker. By lunch, the anxiety was unbearable. I sat alone, poking at food I couldn't eat, the cafeteria noise muffled like I was underwater. Then Liam sat across from me. No greeting, no smile, just sat, staring. "Where's Austin?" he asked. I glanced at him, unsure what he knew, unsure how much Ryan might have said. "I don't know," I answered. "You sure about that?" Liam asked. "Yes," I said, maybe too quickly. Liam leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, studying me the same way Ryan had, but less intimidating, more curious. "You know," he said slowly, "if you're trying to hide something, you're terrible at it." I felt my pulse spike. "I'm not hiding anything." "I think you are," Liam said. "And honestly, I'm not the only one." My stomach sank. "What do you mean?" I asked. "I saw the way you two looked at each other yesterday," Liam said quietly, no mockery in his voice, just understanding. "People don't look at each other like that unless there's something going on." My throat tightened. "There's nothing?" He shook his head. "Look, I'm not judging. I'm not stupid either. Austin hasn't been himself for weeks. And whatever this is, he's scared." My breath caught. Liam wasn't angry. He wasn't disgusted. He wasn't mocking. He was worried. For Austin. And maybe for me. I don't know what he's feeling. I admitted he doesn't either. Liam nodded. "Yeah, that sounds like him." The bell rang. Liam stood, but paused before leaving. "Just be careful," he said. "If Ryan thinks something's going on, things could get messy." He walked away, and the cafeteria felt colder. That evening, I sat on my bed, staring at my phone, debating whether to text Austin. Just one message, one question, one moment of courage. I typed, "Are you okay?" Then deleted it. Typed again, deleted again. Finally, after 10 minutes of anxiety, I pressed send. The minutes ticked by. No reply. 20 minutes. No reply. 30. Nothing. I was about to put my phone away when the screen finally lit up. A new message from Austin. My heart jumped as I opened it. But instead of a greeting or explanation, it was only 3 words. 3 words that made my stomach drop. "We need to stop." I stared at the message, my chest tightening so hard it hurt. Before I could reply, another message appeared. "It's not safe anymore." My heart cracked. I typed quickly, hand shaking. "Austin, what happened?" He didn't answer. I tried again. "Austin, please talk to me." Still nothing. Then, after a full minute of silence, the longest minute of my life, a final message came. One that felt like the ground breaking beneath me. "My brother knows." I stared at the message on my screen until the words blurred. "My brother knows." My throat tightened. My fingers hovered above the keyboard, useless and trembling. I typed and erased a dozen responses before finally sending the only one I could manage. What did he say? No reply. I tried again. "Austin, please. I need to know." Still nothing. The silence felt like drowning. After several long minutes, my phone buzzed. A single message. He wants to talk to me. Alone. My stomach twisted with fear. Ryan wasn't the type to calmly talk. He was intense, direct, territorial. A protector by nature, but also someone raised on the idea that strength comes from reputation, image control. Someone who lived in a world where there was only one acceptable version of masculinity. A world Austin had always been trapped inside. "Can I come?" I typed before thinking. A long pause. Then, "No, please don't. It'll only make things worse." I squeezed my phone so hard my knuckles burned. I wanted to be there for him. I wanted to protect him. I wanted to take the fear out of his voice and crush it. But I also knew this was a moment where I could help. This was something Austin had feared his entire life. Being seen, being suspected, being confronted. And now it was happening. "Message me after," I wrote. Another long wait. Then, "If I can." The words hit me like a punch. If I can. As if something irreversible might happen. As if this conversation with his brother had the power to destroy everything. I sat on my bed for more than an hour, staring at the silent phone, feeling like I was trapped in someone else's heartbeat. At 8:47 p.m., it finally buzzed. But the message wasn't what I expected. "Can you come outside?" My breath caught. Outside where? I wrote. 3 thoughts appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, your house. I'm here. I shot to my feet, grabbed my shoes, and practically ran down the stairs. I didn't care how late it was. I didn't care if my parents asked questions. Nothing mattered except him. When I opened the front door, the cold night air rushed against my face. And there he was. Austin stood on the sidewalk, hands buried in his hoodie pockets, shoulders hunched, eyes red like he'd been crying or trying not to. The streetlight behind him cast a faint glow around his silhouette, making him look both fragile and unbearably beautiful. "Austin," I said softly. His throat moved as he swallowed, but he didn't speak. I stepped closer. "What happened?" He shook his head, eyes dropping to the pavement. "I couldn't stay home." "Why?" He let out a shaky breath. "Because Ryan confronted me. Really confronted me." I waited quietly. He asked me if I was hiding something. "If you and I were anything." He paused, voice trembling. I told him no. I told him he was wrong. I told him he was imagining things. My heart sank. "But he didn't believe me," Austin whispered. "Not even for a second." I nodded slowly. "What did he say?" Austin's eyes lifted, full of fear. "He said I'm ruining my reputation, that people are talking, that he won't let me throw away everything we've built as a family." I felt anger burn in my chest. "You're not ruining anything." "That's what I said," Austin replied, voice breaking. I told him it's my life. But he just kept pushing, asking if I like guys, asking if something happened between us. He wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. "I kept denying it," he said, over and over, even though it felt like lying, even though it hurt. My chest tightened. "You don't know him the truth." Austin shook his head. "He's my brother. He thinks he's protecting me. And I hate that part of me still needs his approval." "You don't need anyone's approval," I said softly. He looked up at me then, really looked, and for a moment, everything fell away. The noise, the fear, the world. Just him and me, standing under the streetlight, sharing the same hurt. "I'm scared," he whispered. I stepped closer, carefully, the way you approach something delicate. "I know." His voice trembled. "I'm scared of what this makes me. Scared of what people will think. Scared of losing everything. Scared of us." My breath caught. "Austin." "Because I feel something," he said, eyes glistening, "and I don't know how to deal with it." Something inside me cracked open. He stepped closer, close enough that our breaths mingled in the cold air. "I want to tell you," he said. "I want to say it. But every time I try, I hear my brother's voice. The team, my parents, everyone." I swallowed hard. "What do you want to say?" He hesitated, eyes flicking down to my lips for just a fraction of a second. And for the first time since I'd known him, I saw it clearly. He wanted me. Not a maybe, not a possibility. A want he couldn't hide anymore. "Austin," I whispered, "you can tell me anything. I promise." He shook his head, breathing hard. "Not here." "Then where?" He looked away, jaw tightening. "Can we go somewhere? Anywhere that's not in front of your house." "Of course." I stepped down from the porch. That's when I saw it. A dark shape across the street. A figure leaning against a parked truck, watching us. My heart dropped into my stomach. "Who was that?" I whispered. Austin turned, and when he recognized the shape, his face went pale, because standing in the shadows, arms crossed, jaw clenched, was Ryan, watching everything, every word, every moment, every inch between us. And he didn't look confused anymore. He looked furious. Ryan stepped out of the shadows like a storm breaking open. His face wasn't confused anymore. It was tight, furious, the kind of anger that comes from fear disguised as control. "Austin," he said, voice low, shaking with barely contained emotion. "Get inside the truck. Now!" Austin froze beside me. His breath hitched, eyes widening with a panic I'd never seen before. He took one step backward as if instinctively trying to shield me, but Ryan's gaze followed him like a loaded weapon. I swallowed hard. "Ryan, don't," he snapped, pointing at me without even looking in my direction. "Do not talk to me." The street was too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your heartbeat sound wrong. Austin's voice cracked. Ryan, please, just listen. Listen? Ryan let out a harsh laugh, stepping closer. I've been listening for weeks. Watching you lie. Watching you sneak around. Watching you disappear after school. Watching you get involved in something that could ruin your entire life. It's not like that, Austin said, trembling. Ryan's jaw clenched so tightly I could see the muscle twitch. Then tell me what it is like. Austin opened his mouth, then closed it, chest rising fast. He couldn't say it. Not out loud. Not under his brother's stare. Ryan stepped even closer, shoving a finger at Austin's chest. You think I don't know what's going on? You think I don't see the way you look at him? The way you run off to be alone? The way you're terrified whenever someone asks a question? Austin flinched. I'm not terrified of you. You should be, Ryan hissed. Not because of me, but because of what this could do to you, to us, to our family. You're not thinking. I am thinking, Austin said, voice breaking. For the first time in my life, I'm actually thinking. Ryan shook his head. No, you're confused. And he pointed at me again. His voice sharpened. Is confusing you? Austin took a shaky breath. He's not confusing me. Ryan's eyes flashed. Then what is he doing? Silence. Austin looked at me, not for help, not for answers, but like he needed one moment of courage from somewhere familiar. And then he spoke. He's the only person I feel like myself around. My breath caught. Ryan stared at him, stunned. Austin. And I'm tired, Austin continued, voice trembling but stronger, of pretending I'm someone I'm not just to make you comfortable. Ryan's jaw dropped slightly, not in anger this time, but in shock. Austin wiped his face roughly with his sleeve. You don't get to decide who I am. You don't get to dictate who I talk to or what I feel. Not anymore. Ryan stepped back as if the words had physically hit him. Austin, he said quietly, you don't know what you're saying. I do, Austin whispered. For once, I really do. The street felt suspended in time. The quiet hum of distant traffic. The cold wind brushing our faces. The soft glow of the streetlights painting everything gold. Ryan looked between us, back and forth, as if trying to process what he saw, what he feared, what he didn't understand. You can't just throw your life away, he said finally. Austin straightened, voice steadier. I'm not throwing it away. I'm choosing it. Ryan blinked, slow, pained, disoriented. And him? Ryan asked, chin jerking toward me. You're choosing him too? Austin looked at me then, really looked, the way he did in the art room, the way he did behind the shed, the way he did the night he stood under my porch light. He nodded. Yes, he said softly. I am. The word struck something deep inside me. A warmth and ache tangled together. Ryan stared at his brother, like he didn't recognize him. Then his expression changed. He wasn't furious anymore. He was scared. Austin, he whispered, things get bad for guys like this. People talk. People judge. People hurt you. I can't protect you from that. Austin stepped toward him slowly. I don't need you to protect me from who I am. For a long moment, the world stood still. Then Ryan closed his eyes, exhaling shakily. Not in anger, but in surrender. I don't understand this, he said quietly. But you're my brother. I'm not going to hate you. Austin's breath broke in relief. But I'm scared, Ryan added, voice trembling. Just be careful. Please. Austin nodded. I will. Ryan nodded once, stepped back, and walked to the truck. He opened the door, hesitated, and turned toward me. His voice softened. And you take care of him too. I nodded. I will. He climbed in and drove off slowly, leaving a trail of quiet behind him. Austin stood there for several seconds, staring at the taillights fading down the street. When he finally turned to me, his eyes shimmered with a mix of fear and hope. I didn't expect to say any of that, he whispered. I know, but I meant it. I stepped closer. I know. For the first time, he didn't pull away, didn't hide, didn't look around for who might be watching. He just stood there, breathing the same cold night air as me, letting the truth settle between us. "Can I," he murmured, voice small, "stay here for a little while?" "Yeah," I said softly. "Stay." And he did. He stood so close our shoulders brushed. So close it felt like a beginning. So close it felt like something new, fragile, terrifying, and real. And for the first time since I met him, Austin didn't look scared of his feelings. He looked ready to face them. Some love stories don't start with certainty. They start with fear, confusion, and the courage to speak the truth even when your voice shakes. Austin didn't have all the answers. Neither did I. But sometimes the bravest thing you can do is finally say who you are and let the world adjust to it. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.